wins!
God said we should have courage and trust in Him. Did you know you can face anything with God's strength?
Yes, even if you feel small or less important. You matter to God. He looks at your heart, not at how you look.
Let's look at one very brave boy who faced a giant and became a hero because he trusted in God.
Long, long ago, in a land called Israel, there was a young boy named David. David was the youngest of 8 brothers, and while his brothers were strong soldiers, he took care of his father's sheep. God saw something special in David that no one else could see. God knew David had a brave heart that trusted in him. One day, God spoke to a wise and kind man who loved God with all his heart, Samuel. God gave him a very special mission. God sent Samuel to find David and pour special oil over David's head, because one day, David would be the king of Israel. Even though David had 7 strong older brothers, who were soldiers and looked like a king, God knew that David was the strongest in his heart. And that is where it mattered the most. Now, David didn't become king right away. He went back to taking care of the sheep, but he never forgot that God had chosen him for something big. David loved to play music and sing songs to God while he watched the sheep. Someone even told the king of David's talent, and the king asked David to play for him when the king felt sad and wanted to feel better. David did so when he was not out in the fields, but David was also very brave. When wild animals, like lions or bears, tried to steal the sheep, David chased them away with his sling. He knew that he could trust God, and with God's strength and protection, he will be okay. One day, David's father, Jesse, sent him to take food to his brothers who were soldiers. They were fighting against a giant enemy named Goliath. Goliath was part of the Palestine army and was very mean and so big and scary. No one in the army wanted to fight him. When David arrived at the battlefield, he saw Goliath shouting mean things and challenging the Israelites to a fight. He saw how afraid everyone was. David then asked the scared soldiers,
"What's going on? Why is everyone so scared?"
Haven't you heard? That giant Goliath keeps challenging us, but no one is brave enough to fight him.
Who does this giant think he is making fun of God's army? Why is no one fighting him?
David's older brother Eliab hears him and walks over. He was angry and said,
"What are you doing here, David? Why aren't you taking care of the sheep? You just want to see the battle."
David wanted to fight Goliath as he heard Goliath taunting and challenging God's people.
"Send someone to fight me. If they win, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will be ours."
Word about David's bravery reached King Saul, and he called for David. He then said to David,
"You're just a boy. You can't fight Goliath. He's been a warrior his whole life."
"I take care of my father's sheep. When a lion or bear came and took a lamb, I went after it, and I rescued the lamb. God protected me then, and he will protect me now. I will fight Goliath."
King Saul saw David's determination and trust in the Lord, and then said to David,
"God be with you, David."
The king tried to give David armor, but it was too big and heavy. David then said,
"I can't even move with all this stuff on me. I'm not used to this."
David took off the heavy armor and went down to the stream. He picked 5 smooth stones, placed them in his pouch, and walked toward Goliath with only his sling and staff. David wasn't scared because he knew God was with him. Goliath took one look at David and laughed and said,
"Do you think I'm a dog that you can chase with sticks?"
David then boldly said to Goliath,
"You have a sword and a spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. Today God will help me win, and everyone will see that the Lord can save without swords or spears. This battle is the Lord's."
Goliath roars and starts moving toward David. David runs toward Goliath, quickly reaching into his pouch and pulling out a stone. He places the stone in his sling, spins it, and throws it with precision. The stone flies through the air and hit Goliath right in the forehead. Goliath then fell to the ground with a mighty crash. David had defeated Goliath with just a sling and a stone, and everyone saw that God helped David win. David became a hero that day, not because he was big or strong, but because he trusted in God. David knew that the battle belonged to the Lord. King Saul couldn't help but be amazed by David from that moment on. He invited David to his home and put him in charge of his army. David quickly became a hero. And that is just the beginning of David's great story. Remember, friends, you don't have to be big and strong to be a soldier and winner in Christ. Even if you feel small or less important, you matter to God. God looks in the heart. Be strong in your heart. Trust and love God, and you too can be brave and a soldier for Christ. With God, you can face anything.
David was a shepherd, just a little guy, looking at the giant standing up so high. Goliath was big, but David stood tall. With God on his side, he wasn't scared at all. You may be small, but you're brave in your heart. God sees your strength right from the start. With God's help, you can face anything. Just like David, let your courage sing. Oh, oh, with God's love and might, we can stand and fight the fight. David didn't wear armor, didn't hold a sword, but he trusted in the power of the Lord. 5 little stones and a sling in his hand. He knew with God he could take a stand. You may be small, but you're brave in your heart. God sees your strength right from the start. With God's help, you can face anything. Just like David, let your courage sing. Oh, oh, with God's love and might, we can stand and fight the fight. God looks at our hearts, not the outside. In his eyes, there's no need to hide. With his strength, we can stand tall. No matter the giant, we won't fall. You may be small, but you're brave in your heart. God sees your strength right from the start. With God's help, you can face anything. Just like David, let your courage sing. Oh, oh, with God's love and might, we can stand and fight the fight. With God's strength, we can face it all. Even giants, big and tall. Oh, oh, with God's love and might, we can stand and fight the fight. With God's strength, we can face it all. Even giants, big and tall.
Thank you for listening. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe for more.